You've been introduced to Mei now. It's time to start learning her in depth, her game plan, the real meat and potatoes of Mei. So there are a few things that we can go over. The neutral game plan of her is going to be first. So you've got a lot of neutral options as Mei. You've got Far Slash. Look how long this thing is. It's very long. It's pretty decent. It's slower than usual, but it's got some good anti-air properties and can be a pretty decent anti-air sometimes. 2S. Our main poke in neutral. This is what you want to be throwing out a lot of the times. It's pretty quick. It gets the same reward as Far Slash, but doesn't lose to 6p all the time. As well as it has a good disjoint, so it's a really good button to throw out. Another one we have is 5H. This is a massive button. Not a lot of people can actually whiff punish it, so you can throw this out pretty easily against a lot of people and get massive counter hits, especially in the corner. It's very hard to escape a situation like this. If they can, don't do it. If they don't, take advantage. 5K, really quick poke that does a far distance, and you can always go for the nice mix of dash cancel. People can mash out of it, but a lot of the times they won't, so just go for it sometimes. It'll be nice. 2K. This thing is great. You can go 2K, 2K, 2D, or you can just keep going 2K for a while, and it will be great. 2K, 2K, and then, yeah, just keep doing this for a while, and you're good. It's cool. JH and JS. These buttons are really good, big buttons. They both lose to 6p, so you want to vary up your area approaches, like forward jump, back jump, things like that. Back jump, air dashes, things like that. You want to delay. You want to make yourself unpredictable. A good way to do that as well is with JD, because you can do this and get a nice mix. Jump forward, for example, you can jump forward, JD, go over them, and go right back with air backdash and get a nice JH. Other things you can do is jump back JH, and you can jump back with an air backdash for even more distance. Don't do it that often to get the danger penalty, that's pretty bad, but it can catch a lot of people wanting to approach you instead. Now, speaking of approaching, when you want to approach as Mei is kind of intricate, a lot more than you might think. So a lot of the times you want to stay around this 2S range, because while 5K is good, it still loses to a few buttons that every character has in that same range. When you're up close, 5P is great being fast, 2K is great for its stagger properties, but when you're out this neutral kind of area, you want to be using your air approaches, making yourself unpredictable, or you want to be using 2S and 5H a little bit closer. Try and get your counter hits to start your real pressure, the fun things. Now, with pressure, this is something you need to be careful of. Mei has quite a lot of pressure that she has access to, especially in the corner. So, when I'm talking about this corner pressure, we've got what I like to call our level 1. Things like these basic block strings. So generally it's close slash into a heavy button into dolphin, and it applies to all 4 dolphins going both horizontal and vertical. The danger with these dolphins is that for the up dolphin in particular, like I showed earlier, you can just walk forward and get a full punish, and for these dolphins, the heavy horizontal, their problem is that you can easily react and 6p them. Now, with the fast dolphins, the problem is you're -5, and a lot of characters have a very good situation at that point. Now, if this works for you, like if your opponent's not doing anything about this, they're not blocking, they're just taking all these hits, keep doing it. Just do it until they respect and answer it. But if they start to beat your options or show competency, you want to move to what I call our level 2. Our level 2, I say that because it's a lot harder to execute, but at the same time, it's a lot harder to block. So, we call this stagger pressure a lot. And why we call it stagger pressure is because if you look, this doesn't look like there's a true end, right? But really, there is. There's a pretty big gap, but it's not visible to a lot of people. So this nice little close slash 2S route can really catch some people lacking. It's very slow, but catches people. 5H into 2S is a very good option. You can even do 6H, and if they've been conditioned enough to be scared, they'll press after the 6H, where their 2S will get them. Another thing is going after you do Dolphin, you've got a lot up Dolphin. You've got a lot of options in your repertoire to do. Another thing that I include in kind of this is when you get to your jumping in. When you jump in with anything, you've got a lot of options to do. You've got into 5K. You can go into 6H. You can go into 5H. You've got all your options. You just need to work around what fits for you. JS works, not just JH. And then for the rest of the stagger pressure, you've got close slash into 2D. You've got just 2Ks. That's always great. And then just 5K dash cancel throw. Always a good option. Will catch people when you've conditioned them to block a whole lot. Another last level 2 mix is going to be the jump cancels. These allow you to input more air and high mix-ups that a lot of people will not look for because very few people use this, and it's super slow, but that's the strength of it, is that it catches people lapsing in their judgments. Finally, there is one last level of pressure in the corner. So, I alluded to it earlier. When you do this, you have a lot of mix options. So you're generally, when you get a blocked up Dolphin, you just want to do JP to get yourself some free risk or a counter hit. When you go through this line, and you get vertical heavy Dolphin, traditionally you're going to want to do JP, right? Because it's safe, and it'll either build up risk or hit you a counter hit. But you're going to want to throw in a jump, and either a JH, you can do just straight JD for some really nasty mix. Like, no one's going to expect this at all, and it's going to be very hard to react to. Or, what you can do, jump, JD, and you can't get JH there, but what you can do is do that. Jump up, you get a JK instead. And then you can just keep mixing, rotating through these options. And a big thing, if you get your JH off, hold on, if I can do it right. So you get your JH off, go straight into close slash. Really strong option. That you just reset here. If they block that, you get a nice, good block. And oftentimes they won't press on that heavy Dolphin. If they do, don't do it immediately. Just go back into your stagger pressure. But again, it's those things that you want to be influencing in. But outside of those, I'm going to go into a couple matches and found some clips of really just showing kind of what I mean to help illustrate that. For some example of just how we're doing neutral and looking at the pressure, look at the 2K in particular. It's really effective. And then, see, I recognize that the Dolphin didn't work all that well. They beat it, so now I'm going to mix up my options. Playing in the match like this is pretty difficult to do. So you're going to want to keep using your options, like especially using this air. Notice a lot on how I'm mixing up my airs. I'm not always pressing a button, and I'm using 2K a lot because it's very effective. Especially J2H into 2K 2D will catch quite a few people. So you want to use that and make them check that. See right there, a lot. I don't even have the perfect inputs, but you can do a lot of like that close slash into 6H off of JH, JS. It's pretty good. See, and a lot of people don't know right now is that JP pressure. This clip uses a lot of stagger pressure, especially jump cancel and other things, and even though I do lose, I'm still an advantage right here. Here's a good example of just things you can use to close out rounds. 5K, 3K, good to close out with. Don't do it very often though, you need meter for it. Never underestimate the value in pressure of just run up throw. It is strong use at times. Thanks for watching, do the YouTube stuff everyone asks, and stay tuned for the final clip. This is a good learning moment clip. I did a bad Orca here, but remember, Orca hits twice.